Welcome to another video. This is Mike's. I am a West Ham YouTube channel, but today I am talking about the David Beckham documentary that I watched on a Monday. I watched it on Monday. I binge watched it. I thought I would save to watch it during the international break because there was nothing to do in the international break apart from have your job and then go home and play FIFA. EAFC, whatever, or watch YouTube or watch some podcasts. I watched the David Beckham documentary, and today we're going to talk about that. Before we get into that, I'm on the road to 200 subscribers before the end of the year, so please subscribe if you are new, and make sure to like the video if you enjoy. Yeah, let's get started. Bit of context. I didn't really know what David Beckham sounded like before, like last year or something. He's been in literally everyone else's documentary that I've watched. Like, I think he was in Neymar's. I think he was in Simeone's as well. Obviously, we'll come to Simeone and David Beckham in a sec because they've got history. But I really enjoyed it. David Beckham's obviously from East London as well. So London Man United fans, they've got history, haven't they? As a Man United fan. And it's obviously like paints a picture on the pressure you have going to a club as big as Man United at the time, as successful as they're trying to be at the time, and being a youth team player going through the ranks in that era. They may not have been social media, but there was newspapers that were brutal. And that's what it was then. They would read the newspaper. There was videos of like, I think it might have been Andy Cole or Dwight York or Cantona reading newspapers. So they would see what they get rated. And Jesus Christ. Especially in that era where you've got people like Alan Hansen talking about you can't win anything with kids. Obviously they don't show that clip in the documentary. But at the time that's what it was. That was that team. And they talk about England, they talk about the amount of time he's moved country, the Real Madrid saga. Jesus Christ. I mean, we all knew Real Madrid is a big pressure to play. Is big pressure to play for Real Madrid. It's the biggest club in the world, probably. I say probably. It's definitely the biggest club in the world. We all know about the white handkerchiefs. That history is still carried on. That's how they are, because they are instant success, and clearly it's worked for them because they still succeed till this day. Last season was bad for them. They only won I think it was a Spanish Cup or the Copa del Rey or something, and they still pull out the white handkerchiefs when they've had enough. They did it against was it Sheriff when they lost with Ancelotti. If they've had enough, they've had enough, and they don't always get what they want. But with someone like Florentino Perez, who's still there but in a different role, it's like the Roman Abramovich at Chelsea, but on mega steroids. With that winning mentality, we're in here to win, nothing else. It is not negotiable, whatever the word is. With Beckham, it's obviously harder when you marry someone that famous as well. You got what that era was, Spice Girls and the football. Like, put it this way. On your TV, you're seeing one of them, at least, depending on what you watch. Probably see one of the Spice Girls' performances if you're around that era. I wasn't around in this era. I was born in 2003. And obviously you see Beckham on the TV playing for Man United. These are two very big names coming through. And they actually get together. That's always going to bring more eyes on you. The stuff she had to go through for him, and he had to go through for her. They had not like there was such a. I don't know how they made that work. You gotta be strong characters to make that work. Constantly being in the spotlight, still being together now. They've got what, like 4 kids or something. They've got kids younger than me. That makes me feel very old, and I'm 20. I've turned 20 this year, and that makes me feel fucking old. Oh my god. But with Beckham, obviously England. It was hard for him coming through in England because obviously the stuff with Glenn Hoddle. And it just proves that being a good player doesn't mean you're necessarily a good manager. Obviously, Glenn Hoddle was Beckham's idol. He was pretty much everyone loved Hoddle that watched him. Uh, like nothing gets spoken. Like everything that gets spoken about Glenn Hoddle as a player gets spoken highly about. A legend of the game, of course. I think we saw this with Thierry Henry when he was manager, where I think Bradley Wright Phillips said it on a podcast with Thierry Henry that because Thierry Henry was that good, he would demand so much from footballers. Like, he would demand the elite level from players that were meaty, to say the least. And that's probably why Glenn Hoddle couldn't succeed. And why some managers that are very good players, like Lampard and Gerrard, probably are demanding of the players that they're coaching. And they're probably not ever going to get the best out of them. Because of how good they were way better than the players they're coaching. With Glenn Hoddle, you had some amazing players in that team, though. You had Sheringham, players like that. That's fucking mad. But England is pretty much a curse in tournaments. And with the whole moving away from his girlfriend at the time, I think Gary Neville emphasised about the fact that he would go on a 4-hour drive to spend 20 minutes with her. That's a direct quote from the documentary. Like, that's mad. And when you have that dedication towards, obviously, your partner, and then you go on a camp, and a World Cup camp, or an international camp, and you spend so long without your loved ones, because she was the only one that didn't fly out to see Beckham. I forgot why. But, yeah, it must have been hard for him. But Gary Neville, I think it was Gary Neville also said that he could have all these problems outside of football. As soon as he gets to football, he just switches to football mode. It was a bit mad that he got told that she was pregnant right before the game. That's mad, you know. Like, imagine being told that. How can your head be in the game? Like, the fucking professionalism that that you can have to stay dedicated like that. Credit to you. Obviously, you're getting paid money. It's not the money of now, but it's still money, and that could easily distract you. But no, fair play. That's the mentality you have to have, and obviously the way he handled. Obviously, a big talking point was the Simeone thing. Abuse and mental health, especially how it was mental health day a couple of days ago, and stuff like that. And Beckham reaching out to Maguire, and the whole Maguire saga in the media. Beckham got probably the most shit anyone has got that wasn't racial abuse. Like, from a footballer. Like, not, anything, none of the obvious, stupid, mongy stuff that weirdos put online with the way they racially abuse Saka, Sancho, Rashford for the penalty, for example. Every black player gets fucking racially abused for something. Dennis and Destiny Udogie from Tottenham got racially abused after the Liverpool game. Absolute cunts of the world. And that is probably the worst you'll get. The racial abuse, the probably death threat. I guess some people get probably death threats to their family. Some people probably get homophobic stuff and stuff like that. Beckham's one was up there in terms of the abuse he got. Like, I knew about the whole hanging Beckham thing, like, and I felt sorry for his mother because she's still haunted by it till this day. He got abused for 2 years. The thing is, I have nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing the whole wanker thing when it's an opposition player at a football stadium. It's too far when you go racially abuse them. You got a family and stuff like that. I'm gonna fuck your mum and stuff like that. You can't be saying these things. I know that's not what was said. That's just an example. With the Beckham thing as well, like the fact that it was 2 years straight, and this is where West Ham comes into it. Where at Upton Park, you gotta know, like, West Ham fans are probably the biggest, like, some of the biggest England fans in the whole, like, English pyramid. So when Beckham's gone back to Upton Park, Gary Neville said Upton Park, like, West Ham away is hard enough, or something like that. It's bad enough. So you probably get a lot of shit there anyway because of how close, like, you are. But yeah, obviously, uh, we actually didn't lose to Manchester United in that game. We apparently drew 0-0 after looking up the game. I think it was that game. I just assumed that they were going to show us getting battered because every time I watch Premier League years, for example, I see Man United just slapping us like 5-3 or some shit. And Ferguson will compliment us by saying two teams trying to play football and stuff like that. I think we got a lot of insight from the whole Simeone England situation. We got a lot of insight from the Victoria and David stuff, the abuse, the amount of times he moved country. The one thing I didn't know about Beckham, I mean, obviously I didn't really know anything about the Real Madrid thing, but obviously I never got to actually watch David Beckham. When I started remembering football, he was probably at the end of his LA Galaxy career and his PSG career. So around 2010-11 is when I can remember a full season of football for the first time because I was like 7. So I never got to watch him. I keep forgetting he went to PSG, not only that, but I didn't know he got that backlash in LA Galaxy from Landon Donovan. Is it Landon Donovan? I don't know whether Landon Donovan, I don't know whether, I forgot if Landon's actually his first name or if that's some spaceship astronaut dude. But Donovan, again, and Beckham obviously clashed. Donovan criticised him, obviously, going to AC Milan and stuff, trying to stay there now. He probably took the liberty a lot, Beckham, by moving the amount of times he wanted to move clubs. Because obviously he wanted to stay at Man United, then he thought, fuck it, after that, because Real Madrid was the next big thing. And, yeah, like, if Donovan pretty much said that this is my Man United, LA Galaxy's my Man United, I think he's from, I don't know whether he's from LA, but, like, obviously he wants to play, like, in his home country. And Beckham actually had to understand, and then they linked up, they scored a lot of goals, and then Beckham eventually left. I didn't know any of that stuff. I didn't know it was that hard in LA as well. Like, even American fans turned on him a bit. Like, the amount of stick he's got, probably from Real Madrid fans at the time, probably from England fans at the time, meaning that you're going to get stick from the whole world. And the reason why I think the abuse that footballers get now, yeah, it's mad, but nothing will ever compare to Beckham. Harry Kane missed a penalty. He didn't get anywhere near that much abuse. He got it on the first game against Brentford after that Qatar World Cup, and then that's it. I'm not saying abuse Harry Kane. I'm just saying so he didn't even get a chant that many times. He just got "You Let Your Country Down" by Brentford fans, and then everyone forgot. Saka will get "You Let Your Country Down" now and then. But then again, Saka, Rashford and Sancho had to go through like mega shits. When you talk about abuse, like just purely criticising players, like they're doing this thing with Harry Maguire. They're doing it a lot with Maguire right now, if we're comparing it to now. I don't agree with abuse. I never will. But Scotland fans are always going to chant about Maguire. Because they see, not only did he score an own goal, wasn't his fault, by the way. I don't think that was necessarily his fault. Because that happens. Those kind of own goals happen. Scotland England's massive. They were chanting about Lizzie in the box and stuff. They were still chanting that. Like, no one's talking about they're talking about the dead Queen. Not only were they chanting that, like, cool, whatever, they're always going to chant about Maguire. They're always going to. So and Gareth Southgate came out in an interview after that game, and then he talked about, like, is this how they treat someone who's done this much for his country? If you go to, there's a video online of literally England fans supporting Harry Maguire. They're backing him. Because the Scotland fans were giving him grief. So the England fans are now, no, fuck that, we've literally just beaten you. This is our centre-back. So who is blaming who? Pundits are allowed to criticise players, by the way. Punditry, shit as it is, with the amount of biasness there is towards certain footballers, let them criticise players. Going back to Beckham went through a lot more. And there was no social media in that era. There was a fucking thing of him hanging. He got it for 2 years straight. Beckham went through a lot. My respect for David Beckham gone even higher after watching this documentary. It was a brilliant documentary. I felt like it was probably a bit rushed towards the last episode because they tried to fit a lot in. It probably should have been like 6 episodes. But that's one of the better football documentaries. I enjoy football documentaries in general, but if we're talking about documentaries on a particular player, that's one of the best documentaries I've watched, especially of recent times. I enjoyed the Sir Alex Ferguson one as well. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Make sure to leave your opinion in the comments. Don't come at me. Just let's debate, kind of thing. Leave a like on the video if you are new. And subscribe if you're new. As I said at the start of the video, road to 200 subscribers, please subscribe. And yeah, check out the other videos on my channel. I make content about West Ham and other teams. And I should have more content coming soon. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.